800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
What's up, Spoony? Welcome to Into the Fire with Chef Randy White. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. And contrary to popular belief, there is such a beast. So, man, I hope I can hear for the day. I've got one ear working at my headset here, so I'll
test 1 2.
There we go.
Okay,
I'm good. If you can hear me, I guess then it's a party. We're good.
I have one job: make sure you can hear and speak.
I don't know about speaking. That's a hard one for me.
Be heard.
You can just make sure that I'm heard just in case, right? So yeah, man, what a busy week and weekend. I had a lot of things going on. So, but it's been fun. I had it started with last week doing Iron Fork, and then this weekend you were able to join me in doing a kind of being the guest judges at a neat class for the World Food Championships. So that was a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed that. So we'll kind of get into it with Iron Fork first off, because that was a fun time. It rained. Oh my gosh, I had no idea it was raining. It was a good thing it was inside, because I got out and it was pouring down, but inside it was great. It was a fun foodie event for those who aren't I talked about this last week on the show, but I love supporting local foodie type events, because these are our local chefs, these are our local food establishments, our local business owners, but they also they pride themselves on putting out really excellent quality food. So it's just important to me to be able to support it, and I was able to do that, and we had a great time. I went out there, was able to connect with Mike McLeod from the World Food Championships. They partnered this year with Iron Fork and with the Dallas Observer for Iron Fork, and they were able to hand over a golden ticket to the World Food Championships here in October to Keith Brown, who's a really good guy here in the Dallas area. He's the chef for the Meat Shop, which is ironically down the street, about three or four address spots from where we were Sunday at the Jelly Queens for Eat Dallas. So that was a great time. But anyway, so they had him and Andre Blasingame. They were they were pitted against each other, and then it was almost a chop style challenge where they had to they had a basket of ingredients, if you will. I think it was just kind of a pile up there that was covered up, but anyway, it was quail, which I love, and quail eggs, and there was something else there too, but I don't remember exactly. I couldn't get up there to see it, but both dishes looked just incredible, and they've got 30 minutes to create something awesome with what they're given there, and both chefs did a great job, but Keith's looked outstanding. So he tried last year. He competed for one last year in the Eat class that was done at the Meat Shop, actually, last year ahead of the World Food Championships, and so it was really cool to to see him, because he didn't make it last year, and so it was really cool to see him get his ticket this year and kind of welcome him in with the family, so to speak. What are you doing? Are you making me look pretty? Oh, look at you. Look at you. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hey, well, and while I'm talking, I'm gonna look at the feed here, and you did start our feed, right?
Yes.
All right, awesome. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look it up, and I'm gonna follow along, because last week we had callers, and which I love, by the way, but I didn't get a chance to go to the what do you call them, the comments and so forth, like I said I would. So, you know, and I had a few comments from last week that I did not get to, and I have every intention of doing it. The first one is Jason Haling. You had a great question about Memphis in May, and I'm going to get to that here in a little bit. So yes, I am going this year. But anyway, so I had a great time at Iron Fork. I was able to sync up with Mike McLeod and, you know, get a few details on not just the World Food Championships that are going to be here in Dallas in October, in mid-October, but also the 17th through the 19th is going to be the World Food Championships final table from the 2018 season. So the 10 winners are all going to get together, and they're going to do really, really elaborate culinary challenges in New Orleans, and it's going to be just a really awesome deal. I'm going to be in Memphis, so I don't think I'm going to be able to make it down, and I really, really wanted to. I tried to work it out in my schedule, but literally they're doing, the last awards, I think, are Saturday at Memphis in May. So I won't be able to make it down, but I wish them well. It's going to be awesome. So all 10 category champs are going to they're going to descend on the New Orleans area there, and in addition to several really cool culinary challenges, the winner ultimately, and Patrick, you heard this too, but help me with the details. But the winner gets their recipe on a menu at an iconic establishment in New Orleans that hasn't been changed in 100 years.
They have not added a new dish in 100 years. A little over.
Isn't that crazy?
No, that's nuts, man. I mean, Antoine's was founded in 1896.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And just so Antoine's is this iconic spot in New Orleans, and it has been so steeped in tradition that they have not changed the menu in over 100 years. Yeah. And the winner of the WFC final table gets their recipe added to the menu at Antoine's. I just think that is absolutely fantastic.
Well, you're okay, and it's going to go on the appetizer menu. And here's the thing: you have to think about this is the restaurant where Oysters Rockefeller was created.
Yeah.
And no one knows the recipe. They've never revealed it. They've never shared it, not once, which is, that in itself over 100 years is pretty bizarre that no one's ever walked out of the kitchen with that recipe.
Yeah.
But apparently only family members know it.
Yeah.
And that should be pretty cool.
That's the kind of place that they have lifers too. I think that you start there and you finish your career there. It doesn't matter if you're a server or a cook or whatever. I think that's one of those iconic places you're just proud to be a part of.
Yeah, that's not one. People see this business a lot of times as a transient industry. It's something we choose to do in between real jobs or before we grow up. But that is not one that you walk into lightly and walk away from on a whim.
Absolutely. No, and I know that there's a tremendous amount of pride, in everybody who not everybody who walks through the door naturally, but any serious food industry, culinary industry people down in New Orleans. I mean, they it is in addition to all several Brennan's and several of these other iconic places. I mean, you have your people who are proud to get up every day and go to work there, and they wouldn't dream of working anywhere else. So. I just think it's pretty awesome. In fact, we talked to Mike McLeod about this on yesterday, and he was able to negotiate. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I said, how are you pulling this off, right? How did you get this done? He goes, to be honest with you, he shared what he did exactly, and it was brilliant. I can just tell you, and there's no tricks. He's just he's a smart businessman, and he made the right decision and made the right offer.
Yeah, as did they.
Absolutely,
as did they.
So, did you walk them through the first 2 rounds? Because it's 2 days, right? They have the first day is 1 course, the second day is 2 competitions. 5 of the 10 pass through to the second round.
Yep.
And then I think 3 at the very final table.
Yes. Three rounds. They'll cut it in half, and they'll cut the 5 down to 3, and then the 3 will go to kind of the final.
Yeah, you want it. What's that first dish?
Do you remember what that is? It's the one with the redfish, right?
No, first dish is Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict.
So the cool thing this year is that they're making you, not requiring, Well, they are requiring. Your dish has to be inspired by the cuisine of that region. And New Orleans has a very rich cuisine. I mean, a history in cuisine.
Absolutely.
I mean, not just Cajun and Creole. There are actually a lot of Irish that were there at one time. Yeah, the Caribbean influence.
Absolutely. The place is 600 years old. I mean, honestly, it's somewhat steeped in history and tradition there.
Really?
So, yeah. Well, I mean, so they think, I mean, a little bit,
Just a little.
yeah. It's just, it's been around a while.
Yes, it has.
So yeah, but I just think that's really, really incredible.
And so second dish is another very famous restaurant dish from the area. It's what is it? Snapper Bienville.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right. That's the second dish.
Yeah, and so you're trying to recreate it's from. So the first one they're going to be they go to is it Nocha? The first restaurant they're going to be doing the eggs Benedict, and then the second course is from, man, how can I not remember where that's from? It's that's why I have a computer.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway,
but the Brennan family, I believe, are judging that dish.
They are. Yeah, they did. They got the one or more of the Brennans to be judges there, guest judges. I mean, that's pretty esteemed. There's an esteemed panel of judges that's going to be there. So I think that's pretty neat. So anyway, point to all that was that not only was it fun to be a part of the Eat Throwdown. So yesterday at the Eat class, there were two. There was a Joe the Baker and Sweet Lucy's, which I think she makes like holistic ingredients like soaps and things like that. But also, she's apparently a baker because her pie was delicious. They agreed to compete with the winner getting a golden ticket to the WFC here in Dallas in October, and so she did it was a lemon grapefruit pie with a marshmallow fluff meringue. It was good.
Whoa,
and
so yeah. Wait, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was going to say
about those two pies.
And then Joe actually his pie was kind of it tasted like a wild blueberry.
Mm-hmm.
And with a little almond streusel and some other stuff like that. It was really, really good.
So
both of them were fantastic.
So let's go through those two pies thoroughly. So his a couple really cool things about his dish.
First of all, it was gorgeous.
Oh, it was beautiful. The petals all the way around.
Yes, it was a beautiful presentation.
And
much
more, not really browned, but in contrast to the rest of the crust, it was beautiful. It was really nice. And instead of having a lattice work on top, he made this streusel, but instead of large chunks of streusel, he did like micro little particles. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So they're about BB size.
Yep.
So you got the same amount in each bite.
Yes.
Which was perfect.
Absolutely. No, it was good. It gave texture and a little, add a little structural component to the dish. I thought it was really good.
And they didn't overcook the blueberries, so it wasn't like a blueberry mush. The blueberries were still whole.
Absolutely.
And
good.
It was so good. What a beautiful pie.
It was. It really was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was absolutely gorgeous. And the presentation was nice. Its execution was good. And I talked to him later on and just let him know his pie was fantastic. It was just it lacked a little bit of acidity and maybe just a little bit of a little sweeter profile. But other than that, man, I would in any other circles I would have been delighted to have it. So
I was delighted. We were really happy with the pie.
Absolutely.
And so here's the thing though, if as savory chefs or like hot chefs, a la minute cooking, we can taste everything all along the way and then also taste the finished product. So if we need to remake a sauce, we can remake a sauce. However, in baking, you can taste everything before you cook it.
Yeah.
You may even put a little piece of crust in and bake it just to make sure that flavor profile is there.
Yep.
You can't. Once it's done, you don't have two more hours to come up and make another pie. So
you get one chance.
Exactly.
You get one. It all happens up front.
And you can't take a big spoonful out of the top, unfortunately, kind of see what it tastes like. And that's the risk that you take and doing those kind of competitions.
Right. And he understood, but he
doesn't specialize in pies either. He's an all. That's a difference as well. He does all around baking. They have quite. Joe the Baker's kind of a big deal around here.
He is a big deal,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him that we probably be some opportunities to collaborate and stuff like that. And I've seen he's worked with some of the notables in the area. I mean, his reputation precedes him. So I mean, he doesn't, you know, it was no big deal to him. But it was he did put in a very respectful entry, and you know, but you know, the second pie with Sweet Lucy's, that was really something.
That was a tricky one to pull off. So, you know, first and foremost, the crust was like a shortbread crust.
Yes.
Almost. I mean, it was traditional flaky, but it had the bottom especially had that bite, the crunch to it. That made it very but
luscious, like a shortbread. I mean, it was
shortbread,
soft,
but
flaky,
still soft.
Soft, really,
Man,
yeah,
awesome.
like a soft crumb.
And then, so the meringue replacement, which she didn't say meringue, right?
Yep.
She called it, that was the name of the pie, but when she explained it to us, it was a marshmallow fluff, kinda.
Yep.
That's what she called it.
Right.
And she browned it like a meringue.
Yep.
But that filling, I'll tell you that grapefruit lemon filling. So I don't know how this was the lemon meringue pie is my favorite by far over any other pie. What was cool about this is you got the richness and depth of flavor of the grapefruit, that added bonus brightness.
Yes.
And you still kept the acid.
Yes.
But somehow completely removed that chemical aftertaste you get from grapefruit.
Yes, almost that bit. Yeah, the bitter, a tartness to the point of being almost annoying.
Yeah, it's got that weird, like, you know, it's like when you accidentally bite into the rind of an orange or a grapefruit, and you get that it's that acidic kind of chemical.
Absolutely.
It's the oils in the skin.
It's what the pith tastes like.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you get it in when you juice grapefruit. That's what you get that, right? It's got a little bit of that chemical aftertaste in it.
Yeah.
Not even a hint of that. And each layer, here's the biggest difference, right? The only difference, really. Each layer of hers, if you had it on its own, stood up on its own.
Absolutely.
And if because the berries were probably fresh berries in Joe's pie, and they didn't hold the sweetness after baking, if he'd had that all the way through, or more streusel on top, so you got an even, it would have been dead even.
Absolutely. No, because it was good, but anyway, yeah. So it was a delightful experience, and you know, so Donna Collins, you know, she is, well, with Jelly Queens, she is just an amazing person inside and out, and she just.
I wish you were a little happier though. I'm not just teasing. she's the grandma everybody wants.
Oh my gosh! Well, she is truly a good and decent person. I mean, it's just in no uncertain terms, she's just a kind, warm soul, and I think that's why everybody gravitates towards her. And so, you know, it's a pleasure to know her. I've known her for several years now, and I think it's been an absolute pleasure to know her. At least two, if maybe three, and so, you know, it's been a pleasure to know her and work with her, and I've used her products. She has let me make products in her you know, her studio there, and or in her little facility, you know, a couple times, and so she's just a quality person. Liz Davenport with Texas Petite Pies. She was there.
Yeah, the two of those together, can I tell you? So when Donna came to the studio, 3 weeks ago. Two of the best bites of food I've ever had. So I think possibly the single best bite of food I had from the meat shop, right? She brought in a Wagyu brisket, but with her black garlic,
the rosemary
balsamic. She just won best condiment in the world, by the way.
Nice.
Best condiment in the world. That's crazy. For that one, she wouldn't leave me the jar. Well, I think it was so. What they needed to do, it was the last one of that batch, and they needed to test the new batch against to make sure the gold standard recipe and translate it over to the batch recipe.
Yeah,
which is fine. But I'll tell you, that single bite of food was quite possibly the best bite of food I've ever had.
Wow.
Then she brought Liz's pie, that white chocolate cherry pie with the Spoony logo on top.
Oh my gosh!
And I mean.
She did what? She put the Spoony logo on?
Yeah, I got a picture of it.
Oh, yeah, I got to see the picture. That's awesome.
Hey, can you tell that we had guests in studio last week? Look at the Spoony logo. Well, we'll fix that during the break. I don't want to come in again. I've already been in once.
It was kind of a melee. It was a free-for-all.
We had about 80 people up here on Friday. That's crazy. So, but yeah, I'm telling you, that pie, no offense to any other baker in the world, that is the single best bite of pie I've ever had. Man, literally. Unbelievable. So she used Donna's the Jelly Queen's cherry filling, and then she added I don't know how she incorporated the white chocolate in there, and it wasn't too runny and it wasn't too dry. And I'm telling you, I did not want to share that. I did I did, but I didn't want to.
I get when I get those life-changing desserts, because I'm I don't have that many vices anymore. But so sweets are kind of one of them, especially when they're amazing. Like I won't just grab a chocolate chip cookie from the pile, but when it comes to like really elaborate, awesome desserts and stuff like that, I'm kind of I dig that, man.
Yeah, and so she, like you said before, she has this amazing, Donna does, this amazing ability to assemble and kind of bring all of these creators of these most amazing products in their category and combine them all, introduce them all and network them all so that they can create amazing products from each individual's line, and it's just amazing.
Gotcha. I dig it. So I'm trying to pull. I'm listening to you, by the way. I'm trying to pull up the comments and so forth, and I only see a couple of them. So last week I did the same thing, man. I was trying to figure out. They have this deal to where they try to sort your comments, and I'm like, no, I'm like, I don't want you to sort. Yes.
If you click on the video and actually expand it, you on the right hand side, you may be able to see the comments.
All right.
I've had to try and work through this, and I'm still not having much luck, but.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. Cool. Now I can at least see it. But they try to go like relevant comments and things like that. I'm like,
and they don't give you. And they say all and it still doesn't show them. Yeah.
All their comments are relevant. See now there are another like 10 or 12 that weren't on here before. So I'm gonna try to. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna see if I can pop up the comments and talk to everybody. Ryan Ford, how you doing, brother? Billy Highland, I love you, man. I appreciate it.
Rick, come on, read his other comment. You're definitely rocking the. Do you see that one?
No.
Oh, he says, Billy Highland goes, Randy, you definitely got the farmer's tan rocking, bro.
Who said that?
Billy.
Oh, that's funny. I do, man. I do. That's because the rest of me is pasty, so I only keep this is my ball outfits, man. My for the ball games and practices and stuff. So I'm always out in the sun, but I only get this much. my dome, I get a good charge on my solar panel, and and I get this part of my arms gets it, and that's just about it. Sometimes the bottom part of my legs get it because I in the summertime I only wear shorts. So
I'm 15 minutes in the sun at the beach, and the front and back of me, other than my arms and my neck, are like I'm like a butterball turkey that's been overdone. Scary,
pasty, almost transparent. I was blessed with decent skin, man. I got I tan easily, but because I'm not out in it anymore, I don't. It takes me a little while to get a good base tan so I don't burn. Anyway, you're right. Hey, you're right, man. That quail, and this is it was Texas farm raised quail, but it looked really, really good. It looked rich, and I know the program that was from. I don't remember the company, but I have heard of that company before. It was really, really good quality stuff, and they did they did some good stuff with it. I think it was Keith that did kind of T-bone, did a stuffed quail, and I knew at the time, I just don't recall, but man, it was good. So Billy is saying that they use greens instead of spinach in the Rockefeller.
Which is possible, but I'm just telling you. Look, there's Pernod and some other stuff in there too.
Oh yeah.
But the thing with that dish is, it's so rich that it could only be for a Rockefeller. That's how the whole name came up.
Yeah.
But no one's completely figured it out yet. No one's ever matched it and put it on the menu and it be exactly the same.
Right. Some people may get close. Heck, it may even be the just a perfect representation, but you'll never know.
You won't. I mean,
you'll never know.
You could even. I'll bet we could send it off to a lab, and they probably won't. They might not get the right ratio.
Right.
Hey,
all I know is I would eat a bunch of it trying to figure it out.
Mike gave us some inside news that we can't talk about on the Snapper Bienville.
Yeah.
But dude, I love that guy even more now.
Oh, isn't that crazy? It's gonna be fun. Anyway, I'm looking forward to talking more about it. Hey guys, I'm glad to have y'all here with me on a Monday. Come on back. Let's chat. See you in a few.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RADUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism,
Yes,
so you're
it does.
burning more.
Yeah, it
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
What's up, Spoonies? Welcome back. So we were just talking about the Oysters Rockefeller at what were we talking about?
So at Antoine's.
Oh, at Antoine's, yeah.
Hey, look, I'll tell you what, it was, by the time I got to
It's
the
been
event
that kind of
yesterday, and after everything you went through last week, and not to mention, the weekend antics you have to, and not antics, but, participation you have to have with the family, it's, because, you guys, did you have ball games on Saturday?
You know what? We didn't have any ball games, but there, it was because there was the threat of rain, and it rained on Friday. So I assume they probably thought that, what was it, Thursday night?
It was Friday night.
morning.
Friday was terrible, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and I think just in anticipation, they just said, all right, well, because it was supposed to rain in some places on Saturday, so they said, okay, no games, but we did have we did have pictures. The baseball pictures of both my kids, Camden and Caden, had their respective team pictures. So, and but other than that, that was it. So it was kind of it was kind of quiet. And now Caden had he had a game yesterday, but I was at Eat. I was at the Eat thing. So he had a soccer game, and which I think they won. So that's cool.
Well,
Shout out to him. Sorry I missed it, bud.
Baseball's coming together, huh?
Baseball's coming together. He practiced. So I went to practice last night, and he was looking good last night too. So yeah, he's.
You have one big game, man. You start that it all starts to click, and you put it together, and you have this one iconic game, and all of a sudden you're like you're the stud on the team. It's like, hey. Yeah, I did that.
He's got the strut. But it was funny. Okay, so he had the strut before he was delivering, and so I'd pull him aside. I'm like, okay, so here's the deal. I dig the strut, but you're gonna have to, we're gonna have to figure out how to deliver. And so he's been working hard and making sure he contributes and so forth. So now he's got the delivery with the strut. So,
So
you know,
not
now I
deli-
can't say anything.
Well, yeah, deliver, with a minimal strut. There you go. That's what we.
Yeah, you know, I dig it. I don't mind. I
You
don't
don't wanna
mind either
break-
one of them having walking around with the attitude. But I was like, okay, buddy, you got to deliver.
That's awesome. Yeah, you told me about last week and how he really stepped up his game, and they took seconds. They were playing like up in a tournament, and they took second.
They were playing third graders, and some of the people on his team were first and second. So I mean, not all of the teams, but all of the teams that ascended were, they were older, right? I mean, they were older, they're bigger, and these, his team couldn't hit the ball over these kids. They were just, they're better, they're more athletic, they've been playing longer and are, bigger, taller. They beat some of us by, or some our smallest guy. The bigger ones beat him by 50 pounds. I kid you not.
Can I tell you?
I'd put $100 on scale.
My son played soccer for a long time, and in their very first tournament, it was their second week of playing. They had their very first tournament. He was, I don't know, 8, 7, I don't know, somewhere in that age. Anyway, they went to College Station. He was playing for the Dynamos out of Houston, Northwest Houston.
Yeah.
Or no, they played a team out of College Station. And I'll tell you, they're the, I won't say their name, never mind. They were really good, though. And my son was playing goalie, Damon. And they lost like 15 or 16 or 17-0. And no one else would get in goal. He had, several stops, but these guys were the Speed Demons was the name of their team.
Okay.
They were good. They've been together already for like 4.5 years at 9 or 8 years old. So they were a little heartbroken. They didn't do well the rest of the tournament. That was their very first game in a tournament.
Wow.
For a brand new team, a select league team. So about 1.5 years later, they played. And no one else wanted to play goalie. Damon's going to go, I'm not letting you play anyway. I'm going to play the whole game. And he held them to 4 goals with 36 or 7 shots on goal.
Wow.
And they still lost 4-0, but that team had been undefeated for I don't know how many seasons in a row.
Sure.
Dude, proudest moment of my son's soccer career. He went on to do really good things after that. Tried to get in the Olympic development pool for a while and did okay there, and switched to tennis in his mid-teens. But I'm telling you, him walking out, he was like, Dad, did you see how many stops I had? I was like, yeah, I saw.
Of course.
Yeah, that's good.
That's awesome. I dig it, man.
I'm feeling a little taller right now, actually.
You what?
I'm feeling a little taller
You
after telling
feel
that story.
tall?
I do. I'm not, I do.
When I put the mic up, I feel taller too. and then when I start to look down at my computer, I have to bring it back down. So hey, I'm gonna get to these. I'm gonna get to these comments. The reason that so I missed it last week. I opened it up to you guys, and I didn't. We had the calls and stuff like that, and I didn't. I wasn't able to get to them. Plus, I wasn't able to see them. I couldn't. For some reason, I couldn't pull up until after the whole thing was over. So anyway, Rob Dopp, love you, brother. I'll see you guys next week. Oh, and by the way, I'm not coming in Thursday anymore. I'm coming in Wednesday, so I get an extra day on my kitchen pass. I got an upgrade. So there. Joe Wilson, we love you, brother. I'm glad you're with us. Yeah.
I think I found Joe a spot for his special squirrel cooking exhibition on June 2nd. They're going to be filming here.
Really?
Yeah, with an Australian film crew.
Local? I mean, like close or?
It's close. It's Burleson, I think.
Okay.
So as a matter of fact, they're out looking at the property now, so I should hear something in a little bit.
Nice.
Just letting you know, brother.
I can't wait to blow some details out of the water on that one. He's going to love it. So, JP, yeah, I do look like I ate pie. Yesterday I ate too, unapologetically, and so I would have eaten more if I didn't think people would talk bad about me. Chris Cavender, hey man, I look forward to seeing you next week too, brother. I know there was more. There was a whole bunch more that came out, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support. You're awesome.
Trey's from last week. Did you see Trey's from last week?
With
when he said, "Hey, Randy, get out of my studio."
Oh yeah.
He goes, "Patrick, stop talking."
Get out of my. Hey, you know what? You leave it open, the gremlins come in. That's what happens.
I said, you leave that door unlocked. You never know what kind of riffraff gets in here. And I said, I can't believe I gave myself a key. You leave the door open, and you're going to be surprised at what comes in. So. Did you see his show last week on Friday?
With John?
Oh, dude. Is John not like the best storyteller as a chef ever?
He really is. I mean,
badass chef too. I'm just.
What's funny is I don't think most people understand. I mean, he's 60. I mean, he's got a significant amount of experience under his belt, and incredible stories and so forth. And what I, so of the people here, he is one of probably the top 3 that I would consider, my biggest influences, or the people who inspire me the most. One of them is John Tsar. I've had the pleasure of a few conversations with him. He's a gentleman, and for him to have, the guy's got 40 years, or whatever it is of culinary experience, and he'll sit here and he'll have a conversation with you, with somebody that's got 1 or 2 years even, and not make them feel inferior or anything like that. I mean, I just think and maybe that comes with, I know he's got a past and everything. We all have a past, but the reality is, as he sits today, he's an absolute gentleman. And, I like the fact that he calls it as he sees it. I mean, I love the fact that somebody like him of his caliber, is I think a lot of people misconstrue what he's saying, or have over the years. He's just truthful. He's truthful, that he's open.
Absolutely. Well, and I think he takes his losses as just a great lesson. His struggles as a chef and personally as just as big a lesson as his successes.
Yeah.
But he was very gracious. I went downstairs and to meet him, just make sure he made it in, because it was getting close. Tracy was like, Patrick, can you go find? Yeah. So that's my job. Anyway, just a super gentleman. I've met him once before. A couple of times. Never spoken to him more than a couple of words.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a really fun, conversive guy coming up the stairs, and so what are you doing? What do you do? And what is this place? And dude doesn't even know who we are, and he came out and was all about it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I know, and he is that kind of guy, and so
he knows Trey. And now he knows Spoony.
That's right. Now he knows Spoony. I mean, I would love at some point to have him on, if he'll come on, but it really is cool. I'm probably going to sit there and look at him the whole time, because I can't even talk, but I mean, honestly, he's one of I think Kent Rapp is probably one of those, and Tim Byers, I like Tim Byers too, and his style and mine, I think, are a lot alike, although, he's got a significant more experience than I do, but I think the styles are kind of the same. And I'm also, I'm inspired by, Tim Byers, Kent Rapp, and John Tsar are probably the top 3 here in town.
Yeah. So for me, I'm being a little bit older. It's Dean Faring probably.
Dean, that's a tough one.
So I got Dean awesome. And Kent I know very well, and I'd say those are probably my biggest 2 influences. A ton of respect to John Tsar, and both being from New York, it's fun. I never make that connection with people, but he's a cool animal. I mean, just crazy. And Kent, though, so I was at the I told you about the wine tasting at his home.
Oh, Kent,
yeah. So Kent's house is built for entertaining.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's crazy. His kitchen,
beautiful place.
You've done a dinner or 2 with him right there. A couple of functions.
Yeah. So I mean, and he couldn't be a nicer guy, especially when we kind of were able to kind of deliver a really good experience for his guests, and so afterward we all got to hang out. We were hung out in his kitchen until 11, 12 o'clock, whatever it was, and just kind of and he is another one that once the work is done, he's very gracious with his, very, very, very kind and welcoming and hospitable with his time. And, and he's always up for a conversation. You could talk to, you could ask him anything and he would help. He'd be glad to help. So just a really, really good person.
So I went to they had I might have mentioned it last week, but the Jordan Vineyard. Right, they are Jordan Winery. They had an early release tasting of their 2015 Cabernet,
and they're in Napa, right?
Yep, and that's Jordan Cab. Most people know Jordan Cab. It's a pretty nice wine. They only do Cab and Chard. Those are the only 2 wines they make.
A lot of my people are barbecue guys. They don't know nothing about that.
No, baloney. They're
like, Jordan, where's that?
Mm-hmm. But they so they're one of the premier winemakers in the United States.
Yeah,
and Kent has a very special relationship with them. But I went in. I was flying solo. I was the last one on the shuttle, all by myself. Everybody else had been there for an hour and 20 minutes. And I walk in and I stood at the corner of the kitchen and I watched them work. And Kent sees me out of the corner as I came up and he's like, "Hey, how you doing, Patrick?" I'm like, "Good, chef. How you doing?" I'm like, "Great, great, great." We start talking. I said, "Do you need a show?" He said, "Hold on one second." He went and finished the service. And then pretty much the rest of the night, I just chatted with him. That was That was it. I think he needs some work on that wine cellar, that wine room that he has. I don't think it's really up to par as far as the visual that you get when you walk in there. There's like 600 bottles in there, and the body of Louis, dude, really? It's sick. That place is
impressive.
Anyway, all right, it's your show talk.
No, it's all good. That's why we're here. We're here to talk.
But the fact that he saw me the moment I walked in the room, and he paid attention, and because I didn't know anyone there, and I was there just to cover for Spoony. So
very good about that. And I was gonna real quick. I was gonna say, so Billy is he's gonna help Stuart Donald for a chance to win a golden ticket to the World Food Championships in October. Brother, I hope you make it because I'd love to see you here. So you guys kill it. When is this again? June 7th. So send me details. I at least want to follow along, and I hope you do it so that you guys can come here to Dallas. Rob said, "You mean that isn't a window behind you?" So hey, this is all pretty good. I guess when you open the door and it looks like it goes to an office.
Hey, Brad is the master of visual effects, right?
Yeah.
Brad Staggs, the set builder, and one of our hosts on the other co-host. Well, he's a host on the other sister channel. He does an amazing job.
Yeah. I was going to tell everybody it was done by Skywalker Studios.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if that was where we were broadcasting from, it's a long drive every week.
Boy, that's no lie. That is no lie. So who else we got? I think that is it. Jason Haling, you had mentioned last week something about Memphis in May, and do I do it? Am I going? I don't typically. I have a funny story about Memphis in May. The only time that I have been to Memphis was to Memphis in May. I was there for work about 18 years ago, and 17, something like that. And I was so I worked in telecom, post telecom nuclear fallout, and I was working for a company where I was doing putting GPS locators and software and stuff on generators for substations or cell for the cell networks. They have at a lot of the cell sites they have power generators are kind of centrally located so that if they got to move them around they can and get service up after a storm. Anyway, it took me to all throughout Arkansas and the Southwest Tennessee and through Mississippi and back to Louisiana. Anyway, so I was in Memphis for AT&T. That was 17 years ago, right around that time, around in May. And I happened to be one night, I made myself stay. I can make my own schedule, and I gave myself an extra night, an extra day, so I could play in Memphis. It's the first time I'd ever been there, and because business just has never taken me there, even after all these years. So it was my only trip, and so I hung out one night at and just got tore down on Beale Street, and I think I ended up at the Rum Boogie Cafe listening to good music all night and hanging out. The next day, I needed something to do, and I was driving around down, I guess down towards the banks there, and you guys that do this every year, you'll know where I'm talking about. And I saw what looked like this wet, muddy ass Woodstock looking, carnival or something, so I headed down there to check it out, and I paid the money to get in. I mean, it's just this muddy mess. I mean, I know it's a shocker to you guys because apparently it turns into this slushy mess every single year without fail. So anyway, rest assured that year it was too, and it was just this. Everybody had mud all over them and drinks and all this, and I was like, man, this looks like fun. I had no idea what it was. I went, hung around for a little while. I didn't know anybody in the barbecue business at the time, so I kind of wandered around for a little while, had some food, and I don't remember exactly what I did. Got a couple of drinks, and then I just left. And looked like a fun time, but it's kind of closed off unless you know people. So I left and went on my way. And it wasn't until about 5 years later that people were, I guess maybe I was competing by then, maybe it was even a little bit longer than that. So anyway, I was competing or at least doing barbecue and you know, and so there was talk about Memphis in May, and I kind of put two and two together, and I was like, oh, yeah, well, I was at Memphis in Bay. that's what that was. So I had no idea before, before several years after I had been there, that was what that was. And I keep saying every year I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. And I just never do. And I've made it to the Royal and so other places, kind of in the western part of the United States. I don't ever make it that far east, but this year is going to be a little bit different. My trip is already planned, and so I leave on Wednesday early, and then so I'm gonna drive. So I'll get there Wednesday afternoon, and hopefully I'll be able to connect with a lot of you that I know once I get there. So it's going to be Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday early evening, maybe. I'm hoping not early evening. I'm hoping to. I'm gonna take my son to school. My youngest son, Camden. I'm gonna take him to school, and like I always do, I do that because it helps Natalie not have to do that, because she and my oldest go to the same school. So they go together. So. But what I'm going to do is as soon as I get done there, I'll have most of my stuff packed, and I'll just start making the trek after traffic dies down, and I can just head on out. And so if all goes well, I should be there around 3:00, maybe 4:00. So somebody have a cold one ready for me, please, and maybe some food, because I'm not stopping.
Sounds like a fun time, man. It really does.
It's good. Well, and so I didn't initially think I knew very many teams that are going to be down there. I think I know 12 to 13, 14 teams down there now. So it's a whole different deal now, and I'm just excited. I'm looking forward to it. Memphis in May is their own. I think they have their own sanctioning and everything. I mean, I actually thought it was part of the Memphis Barbecue Network, but I don't think that's the case. I think that they have their own set of rules and sanctioning, and it's its own event, if you will. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to drink and play, but if anybody needs a hand, I'll take some clothes and stuff like that too. Some gloves that fit me that I can work.
I was going to say, you're going to take some. You weren't going to take any clothes otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not going to take any clothes. I told you Woodstock. I mean, you think I'm kidding? I mean, I could go in my underwear. And,
I know,
and
you meant like chef
in.
coat and some stuff you don't mind. Yeah, I got you. That's funny.
I don't know. I'm running around. Everybody, people are running around. Barely scantily clad.
Those aren't grease, but burns are bacon kisses. Come on, man.
It's anyway. It's gonna be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't get the chance to do things like that very often, and my kids are getting to the point now. I still don't want to leave them with Natalie for a week at a time or whatever. Unless it's just something like this where it's once a year, and I got the okay from her that Wednesday, as long as I take the youngest to school, I think we're good. So Wednesday to Sunday, that's going to be. But I'll make my way back on Sunday. But I'm excited now. I'm so excited. So any of you who are listening, if you're going to be there, make sure you sync up with me, because I want to see all of you. There are many of you that I don't even get a chance to. I don't get a chance to see anywhere except for one of the big event that you guys would be at. So. Make sure to sync up with me. Let's go grab some food and a beer or 2 or 10.
Yeah, because nobody's driving. It's okay.
No. Well, and the thing, to be honest, I ain't driving. I'm gonna park it, and then I'm headed to I'll get a Lyft or an Uber, and that's the last time I'll see car keys. Because I don't plan on I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to. So I'm leaving the vehicle at the hotel, and that's it. So and I'm staying in South Haven. I mean, I'm sure that you guys who do it all the time, you know where that is. But that's gonna be a fun deal, and we're looking forward to it. You know what? I'm gonna see here if there's anybody else who has. My computer, my comments thing is still over here down at the far bottom right. So, what is it, Rob? It's always a good time. Woodstock broke out into a barbecue comp. It is. I'm telling you. I swear. The year that I was there, that's exactly what it looked like. Was it looked like I mean, there's even live music and stuff, I think. So, I mean, it literally looks like, it looks like Woodstock, and, and the people were having that good of a time too, which I love. I mean, it was fun. It was what a cool experience. So, and I didn't even know what it was at the time. I just knew I had some fun, and then I left, but, it's going to be awesome now that there's some relevance and significance. So, like I said, if anybody needs a hand, let me know. Otherwise, I'm good for a beer or whatever. So bring boots, man. All right, I'm gonna bring boots. Yeah, you know what? I didn't think about that, but that's probably a good idea based on experience. So I'm bringing boots. Hiram, what's up, brother? Ooh, Billy, best bite of food I've ever had. That's a great question, man, because I've had some good. Also, I'll tell you this. I've had some really good stuff, but lately, how about this? Lately, there is an executive chef here local named Bria Downey. In fact, I did a write up on her last week. After I left this show, what happens is I'm right in between Fort Worth or I'm kind of at the edge of Fort Worth before Dallas, and I live way up in the Northeast. I'm kind of southwest of town. I'm almost a catty corner to as far as the Metroplex is concerned, and so I don't get in the traffic. And in order not to do that, I'll go into Fort Worth. What I have been doing is I'll go into Fort Worth and I'll pick a restaurant or a spot I haven't been to and just give it a try. And so I went to, I found myself, I'd seen Chef Dean Fearing giving out an award. He posted it to his social media for Clay Pigeon, which is over here off of, it's kind of on the northeast of downtown area here in Fort Worth. And so I thought, I'll go check that out. And I didn't know, I didn't know the chef or anything like that. And, but I was like, yeah, that's, and I found out, she's actually, we're we were friends on Facebook and stuff like that. But anyway, I didn't know a whole lot about her. But I thought, you know what, I'll go check that out. I've got time to do this. And I went, and the place is called Clay Pigeon, and it was one of the best meals I've had. It was in this little unassuming location in between some auto dealerships, nice auto dealerships. But I mean, it's it's kind of off the beaten path just a little bit. You had to be going there to end up there. I mean, you wouldn't just pass and say, oh, there's Clay Pigeon, we'll stop in. You got to know it's there. Anyway, I had she had as an appetizer I got this foie gras mousse that was absolutely phenomenal with some strawberry and rhubarb jam, I think was what it was. Anyway, it wasn't a mousse. It was, she calls it she calls it a torchon, and it is, but it had this consistency of this almost a creaminess like a mousse, and it was just fantastic. And I really, really enjoyed that. That was good. Just this velvety, silky, like a rich creaminess, and it just, so you had this little fruit jam with it, and anyway, it was awesome. And just a little bit of I think it was thyme or something over the top. There was just a little bit of a fresh herb over the top, maybe a little oil, but it really, really was good. And but that wasn't the only thing I had there. Her duck, she's got a wood fired grill. I mean, she didn't, she's not doing this stuff on a gas flat top. She is, she uses a wood grill for all her stuff, and her duck was the best I've ever had. I mean, I was trying to think, okay, well, maybe it's not. Maybe I've had a lot of duck, and I love duck. Anyway, her wood grilled duck was probably among the best I've ever had, if not the best. She just had roasted root vegetables and stuff with it, but she had the best part of that plate was she had this demi-glace. So I think a lot of people mail it in on demi-glace these days because it's expensive. If you make it right, you boil it to nothing. I mean, you kind of, you reduce it to nothing. So, it's costly. It takes time. Anyway, her demi-glace was a traditional demi-glace that was just out of this world. Silky, rich, and sticky. I mean, it was just perfect, and it was sitting under the duck, and so I got kind of a delicate flavor from the duck, and I got there was a richness and just this silkiness from the demi. And anyway, it was a good meal, man. So that was one of the more notable, I guess, meals that I've had, and you know, and I think she's a relatively new, newcomer to the scene. I mean, she's probably been working, as a chef for a while, but I think she was a sous chef somewhere else, and she got the opportunity to come and be an executive chef at this place. And she and her sister, I think it's her sister, is a mixologist and tends bar there, and both of them just couldn't be nicer people. They contributed to the good experience, and if you follow me on Facebook, then you'll be able to see that. My write up on it. Anyway, man, it was good. So that is among, that was my most notable meal lately that, that I wasn't necessarily looking out for. So, but anyway, I think I got everything. JP, you're probably right about that. I need to rent a car and take down there. He said my car will be on blocks, and you're probably right. Actually, I think it's in a decent part of town. But anyway, so South Haven, yeah, absolutely. It's just outside of Tennessee, but it should be fun. Anyway, what is Grapevine Row, brother? Are you talking about where the where Clay Pigeon is? Anyway, I don't know. I'll see where you're talking about. Anyway, it has been a fast hour. It's been a fun hour. Thank you so much for just unplugging for a little bit and hanging out with me. I'll see you guys next week on Into the Fire with Chef Randy White. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks a lot. God bless.